Do not forget, you can support the channel with a like, and you can also subscribe to be aware of the latest published videos. Thank you. We hope that here you can find the latest news, ideas, and discoveries from the scientific world.
In late 1821, Jane Long's husband, Dr. James Long, decided that he and a band of about 50 men were going to wrest Texas from Mexican rule, leaving Jane in a small stone fort on Bolivar Point at the entrance to Galveston Bay. Winter was coming, the nearest people were a hostile band of Karankawas living across the bay, and Jane was pregnant. James promised to return in 3 weeks. He left Jane, their 6-year-old daughter Anne, and Kian, a 12-year-old servant girl, in the company of a few soldiers at the fort. 3 weeks came and went, supplies began to run low. Jane was 23 years old. Winter blew in, and it may have been the most brutal winter in Texas history. Galveston Bay froze over. Jane moved into a small makeshift tent in the middle of the fort, but snow collapsed the walls. It got so cold that winter that Jane saw a large black bear walk across the frozen bay from the mainland to Galveston Island. A black bear can weigh some 350 to 400 lbs, so the ice must have been 5 inches thick, minimum. On December 21st, Jane delivered her own baby as Kian, the servant, lay delirious with fever. Jane christened the newborn baby Mary James, and the next day went out to collect fish that had frozen in the ice. There were so many fish that Jane, who had been on the verge of starvation, was able to store and salt away so many that she was able to pull her and her little family through. The day after Christmas, some men showed up with a message from James, her husband. He had been captured and was imprisoned in Mexico City, but was well. Across the bay, on Galveston Island, the Karankawas were waiting. Their fires burned at night. One morning, Kian went outside and spotted several canoes loaded with warriors approaching the fort. Jane and Kian turned their one, old, aging cannon on the Karankawas, applied tinder, and blasted away. She didn't hit anything, but the tremendous roar turned the Indians away. Finally, in March 22, Jane agreed to leave the fort and travel with James Smith to San Jacinto. Several months passed and she received a letter that informed her that her husband had died in Mexico City. An accident, Mexican authorities claimed. Undaunted, Jane opened a boarding house in Brazoria and, over time, refused marriage proposals from Mirabeau Lamar, Sam Houston, and Ben Milam, among others. For a long time, Jane's daughter Mary James was thought to be the first Anglo child born in Texas, which is why Jane was called the Mother of Texas, though it has now been confirmed that Mary James was not the first Anglo child born in Texas. Nevertheless, Jane's amazing struggle and perseverance during that awful winter of 1821 remains a testament to the human capacity to endure.